Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Guess what time it is? It is NCAA college football time. We got week 0. Some people call it week 1, first weekend. A lot of people are calling it week 0. It's kind of a combination of those. So we're just going to go with week 0. So we have, 8 games? 7 games? Is that what we got on slate here? 7 games. Obviously the big boys, the Alabamas of the world, the Clemsons, Georgia and all, then play next week. The biggest game here is going to be the first game, actually. The Navy midshipmen taking on Notre Dame Fighting Irish in Dublin, Ireland. So that's kind of cool. Go international with some college football. Now make sure you check out the realignment video I did a couple weeks ago. I know there's a lot of talk of Pac-12 teams basically leaving the Pac-12, going to the Big 12, the SEC, the Big 10's getting a lot of them. And right now, in 2024, the Big 10 will have 12 teams. Or no, 16 teams, excuse me. So I kind of did a realignment, what I thought they should do. 8 conferences, 16 divisions, boom, there you go. So we're going to kind of run down the 7 games this week, and then next week I'm going to pick about, I think, 25 teams total, and I'm going to run down just the games those teams are involved in. Now, as the season goes, I may change that up a little bit and go to kind of the undefeated teams like I've done in the past. Maybe I'll add some. I probably won't take any away because if those start playing each other, because there's like 2 in each of my conferences, so we may have 20 games or so. There's just so much college football. It's hard to cover it all. I know in the XFL I covered it all, USFL, CFL, NFL, but college there's just 133 FBS teams. It's almost impossible to do every game. I've done it once or twice. I might do it before the year's over with, do every game 1 week. I think the max, I think it was 1 week, it was like 60 games, 65 games or something. But one of these weeks I'll do it. It'll be later on in the season when I have more time. So first game, Navy midshipmen, Notre Dame Fighting Irish. In 2022, Navy was in the ACC. They will be back there this year. Notre Dame has always been an independent. Notre Dame was 9-4 last year. Navy was 4-8. All time, Notre Dame versus Navy. Notre Dame is 80-13-1. Notre Dame has won 5 straight. Notre Dame is favored by 20.5 here. I had Notre Dame winning. I've been covering the 20.5, taking under on the 50.5. Next up, we have a Conference USA versus Conference USA. So we have UTEP Miners, who are 5-7 in conference last year. They're staying in the Conference USA, going up against new to the FBS Division 1 Jackson State Gamecocks. They were in the FCS last year, where they were in the Atlantic Sun Division. They finished 9-2. They're in the Conference USA this year. Actually, UTEP is only favored by 1. Being new to the FBS, you'd think they'd be a bigger underdog than that. But I got UTEP winning, covering the 1, and over on the 52. Next up, the Ohio Bobcats versus the San Diego State Aztecs. We got the Bobcats in the MAC. They were 10-4 last year, going up against the Mountain West, 7-6 last year, the San Diego State Aztecs. Both teams are returning to the same conference. One previous game in 2018, Ohio won 27-0. San Diego State, the Aztecs are favored by 3.5. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 49. Next up, we have the independent of UMass Minutemen, who were 1-11 last year, going up against, last year was an independent. This year, the New Mexico State Aggies are in Conference USA. As an independent, last year they were 7-6. New Mexico State, all-time is 2-0 versus UMass. New Mexico State's favored by 8. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 44.5. Next up, we have Mountain West versus SEC. Hawaii Rainbow Warriors last year was 3-10, going up against the Vanderbilt Commodores, who were 5-7 last year. One previous matchup with these 2 schools, Vandy won in 2022, 63-10. And Vanderbilt is favored by 17 here. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 55.5. Next up, we have out of the Mountain West, the San Jose State Spartans, who were 7-5 last year, going up against the Pac-12 currently USC Trojans, who were 11-3 last year. So in 2023, they're in the Pac-12. In 2024, they'll be in the Big Ten. The Big Ten will span coast to coast. I don't think a college football conference should span coast to coast. Again, check out that realignment video I've done. Basically, I did it by regions. I kind of stick with some of the same conferences we have now. The gist of it is 8 conferences, 16 divisions. You play your so many games in your division, so many games in your conference. You have your conference title game, your 2 divisions. Basically 8. You rank those 8. That's your playoffs. You don't have these committees who I think are getting paid under the table to put the SEC in there. I'm just saying it. Can't prove it. My opinion. Because there's a lot of SEC. We have the Power 5. Typically, you have to be a Power 5 to be in the playoffs. We've only had 2 exceptions, Notre Dame and Cincinnati. Pac-12 is one of the Power 5 teams, and right now for 2024 they have 5 teams. It's not really a Power 5 team. Power 5 conference. Big Ten is going to be so just bogged down with super teams. It's not even going to be funny. So is the SEC. I don't understand how you're going to basically counteract each other. But I know that they're expanding the playoffs to 12, if I remember correctly. So I think they need complete realignment, in my opinion. But so USC is favored by 30 against San Jose State. I got USC winning, San Jose State covering the 30, and over on the 64.5. And then the last game of Week 0, we have the Florida International Panthers going up against the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. Both teams out of the Conference USA. Last year, the Panthers were 4-8. Bulldogs were 3-9. 5 previous matchups, Louisiana Tech 4-1. They won last year 42-34 against the Panthers. Louisiana Tech is favored by 10. I got the Bulldogs winning, Panthers covering the 10, and then over on the 58.5. So that is the 7 games from Week 0 of the NCAA college football season. We will have Week 1 next week, and then we'll have NFL, CFL, all that right here, NASCAR right here, pro wrestling. That's what I cover here on Robert Sports Show. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Rob Sports Show. Make sure to subscribe to the page here. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports center content.